Within a Sports Century, we go for a college football game preview and prediction on the Week 3 matchup between Boston College and Mizzou. Two teams off to a strong start so far this season. Boston College looking like a true ACC contender right now, coming off of two really impressive wins so far this season, taking on Missouri, a true dark horse in the SEC this season. We'll be going for a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. So with that, let's get started. Boston College beat Duquesne 52-0 last week. Obviously had that huge win at Florida State there on the Monday night of Week 1. So Boston College is ranked 24th in the country going into Week 3. That's definitely not something that I think a lot saw coming, but Boston College looks like a legit team right now. Missouri does as well. They are ranked 6th in the nation for a reason. They've shut out two teams in a row, beat Buffalo 38-0 last week, and then Murray State 51-0 the week before. So Missouri at this point ranks sixth in the nation. They are kind of on the gradient between being an SEC dark horse and a true national contender. The SEC is stacked of a conference as it is with Georgia and Texas and Alabama, Ole Miss. Missouri's in that conversation as well. I don't know that this team is quite as good as Georgia or Texas yet, but I mean, based on the first couple of weeks, I feel like the sky's the limit right now for this Missouri team. Games to be on Saturday in Columbia, so Tigers with the home field. They are favored by 16 points in this one, so still heavy favorite despite taking on a hot Boston College team. We saw this matchup back in 2021 as well, where Boston College won it at home by a touchdown. Your stat comparison, Boston College so far 51st in points per game, 24th in points allowed. So a strong defensive team so far this season especially. But obviously, I mean, the Eagles on offense maybe are better than these stats show, because obviously they've already had to play a top 10 team, and they did so on the road. But, I mean, Castellanos is a good quarterback. He's definitely been impressive so far. 340 yards and 6 touchdowns so far this season, no picks. And you could say the same about Brady Cook, who leads what is a pretty experienced Mizzou offense. This is a pretty talented team overall. Obviously first in the country in points allowed so far this season, because they haven't allowed a single point so far this season. Your recent matchups, Boston College obviously with the win at Florida State 20-13. Florida State ranked 10th in the country at the time, obviously, despite already being 0-1 because the rankings stayed from week 0 to week 1. But either way, going on the road, I know Florida State's not the same team that they were, but either way, going into Florida State and beating them in the way that Boston College did, I mean, this looks like a legit team so far this season. And obviously following that up with a huge shutout over Duquesne, things look pretty good for Boston College right now. You look at Mizzou on the other side, things look pretty good for them as well, with dominant wins, shutout wins over Murray State and Buffalo. Your key points, 2-0 teams. Eagles emerging as an ACC dark horse. The ACC is a wide open conference. I mean, Miami's obviously at the top right now. They definitely look like the best team in the conference. Louisville's really not far behind. But at this point, I mean, if you're trying to name the third best team in the conference, I mean, NC State took a pretty bad loss. Florida State's obviously had a really bad start. You could put Boston College as the third best team in the ACC at this current point. Georgia Tech was looking pretty good until they lost as well last week. So, I mean, Boston College at this current point is definitely a team worth keeping an eye on. Castellanos, this offense off to a really strong start overall. And I'll say this, I mean, this is a matchup with some big college football playoff implications, obviously. I feel like if the Eagles can find a way to go into Columbia, beat Mizzou here, the 6th-ranked team in the country, that very much puts this team on the college football playoff radar. And they honestly go right up to being a top contender in the ACC, right along with, I'd say, Miami and Louisville at this current point. So, obviously, that's what's on the line for them. As for Mizzou, one of the hottest teams in the country so far this season. Brady Cook leads an experienced offense. This is a really talented team overall. They were really good last year, and then you consider that they returned most of their players on both sides. This is a team that's very much a national contender right now. I mean, they're kind of in that second tier, though, in the SEC right now, and so it's just about, can Mizzou jump up into that top tier along with, you could say, Georgia and Texas. I mean, Texas and Georgia are just on a different level, and Mizzou I would kind of put in the same tier as, you could say, Alabama or Ole Miss as well. Even Tennessee at this point. Tennessee is also looking really good. So there's some really strong teams in the SEC. It is a stacked conference this season. And at this current point, I feel like if Mizzou can find a way to win this one, they could be a 7-0 team going into Tuscaloosa in late October. It's very much favorable for that. This is probably one of, if not the easiest schedule in the SEC. All this team plays is Alabama on the road and Oklahoma. Otherwise, I mean, you go to College Station in early October, but I mean, the schedule is very favorable for Mizzou. This team doesn't have to play Georgia or Texas or Ole Miss or Tennessee, LSU, any of them. So, I mean, Mizzou's got it really set up for them. It's just about can they stay consistent, and that's something we'll find out here in the near future. But with that, let's get a prediction here for Boston College and Mizzou coming up here in Week 3. Who would have thought that this could be the best matchup of Week 3? But here we are. I'm going with Mizzou to win this one 34-17. So I do think it's more of a dominant win for Mizzou. I think them being at home here, they are, I would say, the better team in this matchup, despite Boston College having a pretty flashy start so far. I do think Boston College is actually a pretty good team, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they were top 3 or even top 4 in the ACC this season when it comes down to it. But I feel like in this matchup where Mizzou's at home, they're coming off of 2 shutouts over Murray State and Buffalo. Obviously, both of those teams aren't very good, but it still is. I mean, that's still 2 shutouts. This team hasn't allowed a single point so far this season. So I think Mizzou shows up. I think they find a way to win this one 34-17. Taking Mizzou to cover, but that's, I mean, the line is like 16 points towards the Tigers. That's a pretty tough line to bet on, but I do think this game goes under, and I am pretty confident with that here. I do think Missouri's defense really shows up, and I think Mizzou's offense is really good as well, but I think Boston College, I mean, they've got a strong defense as well, so I do think we find a moderate scoring matchup here where Mizzou comes out on top, and they remain a big-time national contender this season. But let me know your thoughts and comments below on this matchup, your score predictions, all of that. I appreciate you guys watching as always. My name's Evan. This is All Sports Central. Stay tuned for more. We'll catch you on the next one.